there, it's Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more, Women on TV.tv, iTunes 247, and the Women's Broadcast TV Network. And today's special guest, and I've been waiting to interview this young lady for a whole year, is none other than my good friend, Irma Goodson. Hello, young lady.
Hello, Brian. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm hanging in there. I've got, this is show number 94 in 7 weeks. So a lot of stuff. But as you know, I had you booked for stuff because it's that time to talk about you. Talk about what you used to do before you started reading and writing your books, and then get into your books.
I have been in engineering all my life, and I missed something. I knew I missed something. Then I had kids, you know, we all follow the same path, and I almost lost my daughter through bullying. That is when I realized something had to be done, because in some shape or form or another, there is always bullying happening to our kids, and they are future leaders. And my first book I wrote was my daughter's story. From then on, I realized I wanted to do more. So I have been volunteering. I've been speaking at youth groups. I've been helping them with my programs. And I have now published 3 books out of 5. I'm busy on the 4th book. And they're all very controversial topics that people don't always want to talk about when it comes to teenagers.
But you know, the good thing about that is I've read the first 2. I'm waiting for the 3rd one, and they're really good. This time last year, we're in Tennessee.
That's your copy.
Is that so that's the 3rd one?
This is the 3rd one, and this is your copy that I have to send to you.
Oh, good. I like that cover, meaning who I am. You know, who am I? That says a great deal on that title alone. Talk about that title, but before you do, this time last year, we're in Tennessee. And we were talking about your books there. I put up a photo of Jessica Heim, one of my Tennessee correspondents. And you go to Instagram or Facebook, you'll see it. But this is the time last year we were talking about the 2 books that I had that you had written. And then, so you said when we were talking about stuff, well, yeah, one on the edge and the other one upside down. Both very, very good. And I personally don't think they're controversial, but I understand why you would say that because of what's in them. But not only is the illustration good on that, they're really, really good stories. They're really, really good, inspiring. I didn't think I was going to enjoy reading them. Talk about why people who have read them so far like them.
They are, first of all, based on real life stories. So what I write about, I've known these kids, I've known these families, and I've seen what happens in the schools or sports fields. That is the reason why. What makes them different is the fact that it's not a factual book. It is real life stories written as fiction. Every book has an eagle, and he goes through the whole series where he's kind of like the boss man, and every eagle oversees fairies and elves. These fairies and elves are allocated to these young kids, and they are with them to guide them through life. And what happens in the books when these kids go through these horrendous experiences or life issues, these elves and fairies, with the eagles' help, take them on journeys, and they make them see that they are stronger than what they realize, and that they can overcome anything, because these teens experience these ventures into, you know, space, wherever, but they experience it and they feel it's real. They don't realize that it's an experience while they're asleep or while they're daydreaming. So this then makes them realize that, but I can do this. I am stronger than what I think I am. It's going to take a lot of work. My books don't always have the good endings either. They do have the endings where the main character does persevere. They do come out on the other side stronger. But it takes work. It takes to go to see counselors. It takes for the parents and the kids to go and seek help. It takes for police to get involved. It takes for people to understand that not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to accept you for who you are. But you know what? You have to accept yourself. And there will always be someone who will be in your corner.
What's your favorite character in the first one?
My favorite character in the first one, which was On the Edge, was about seeing Nadia, how she goes from absolute depression to highs, to lows, to highs, and then eventually she talks to her parents. She tells them she's being bullied. She makes them understand this is what's going on. The parents, by accident, found a letter that she had written that she wanted to end it all. And it was just meant to be. And they spoke to her. They said, why? What's going on? Talk to us. And they didn't realize the bullying was as severe as it actually was. Nadia cut herself. She self-harms. She is contemplating suicide. She wants to end it all. And through counseling, through the counselors at school, changing schools, the parents talking to the doctors, getting her on anti-anxiety medication, she is stronger than anyone realized. And I think there's a young Nadia in all of us. We all go through these where you think, is it worth it? Why do I carry on? Why should I bother with life when everything is so terrible? And you know, I see around the world these K-pop kids committing suicide because of bullying. You see these young social media stars committing suicide because of cyberbullying. Life is so precious. And if my books can help these kids understand there's always hope. Don't ever give up. Don't ever think you're at the end of your rope, because you're not. There is always, always hope. And you are probably going through that experience because you will be able to help someone else. You can save a life by being strong and by standing up for what is right.
You're also spiritual too. Talk about that.
I believe that we are all guided. I believe in the angels. I believe in the gods and goddesses. I feel that we are all here in this lifetime to learn lessons, to step into our paths. My path is definitely to help young people and make them see that life is precious. This lifetime we are in, this is the most important lifetime you could be in, because the lessons you're going to learn, instead of stepping out of the way, you know what? You're going to come back. You're going to have to do it all over again. And it might be worse, but grow from it, become stronger, because our youth, they are tomorrow's leaders. They are the presidents, the prime ministers, the premiers. They are the ones to lead their countries. And this, whatever they're going through, can only make them stronger and be the better for it.
Talk about the schools today. You're in Canada right now, so the border is closed. The border was supposed to be closed until June 20th, and then they pushed it back, which I think is a smart move, until the end of August. How are the kids up there, what the ones that you know and yours, dealing with not being in school, not finishing that, not seeing their friends? What have you noticed from that?
I have noticed that parents both of them working, and now they don't. Now they're at home and they are full-time with their kids. It is hard. It takes a lot of courage to be a parent and to be with a child 24/7. So you get the parents who are full out and they are taking advantage and they're having fun with their kids, and they go into nature. They teach them about their cultures, because in Canada, it's such a diverse nation. They are from all over the world. Then you get the parents who just gave up and the kids are just roaming.
Wow.
These kids need to understand that, or if your family of these kids, make them understand that they can go to adults who will believe in them, who will trust them. If their home environment is not ideal, there is always someone who can help. You know, go to Big Brothers, go to your youth centers, talk to someone. There are phone lines for all over the world for help links for teenagers and kids. The parents even, they can go and say, call them and say, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm at my wit's end. I'm going to kill my kids. And they can get that help they need. It's a tough time. COVID is changing the way we look at the world. That is for sure.
Yeah. Talk about your second book. Describe that.
My second book, Upside Down. It is about a young BMXer whose elf is also this tall, big BMX guy. He and his best friend Trip, they go to school and they just ordinary teenagers. They go BMXing. They want to be in the world championships. They have their dreams. Then the football kids, the jocks, they start inviting them in. Don't be such a scary cat. Try this joint. Come to the party. These kids end up at a party. They try drugs. It doesn't end well for either of them. You know, we think that because drugs are allowed or marijuana is allowed worldwide, that it's just pot. It's just going to be a joint I smoke, but it's not. Because kids still get it illegally. It can be laced with all kinds of chemicals. And it takes one puff, only one, to kill you. We've seen it here in Canada. I've seen it all over the world. Be aware, when you start with marijuana, it's not going to be enough. Many of you out there using pot, you can handle it. You probably could, and you grow out of it and you think, it just makes me relax. But you know what? There are those who need a crutch. They need to feel that they can escape from what's going on around them. And these are the ones who get addicted to harder drugs. These are the ones who could have been an amazing future president we lose because of drugs. So as you can tell, I am not for drugs. I almost lost my daughter. The people who helped her were the kids who skipped school. They were the kids who self-medicated. A lot of them came from horrendous families. When she was so severely bullied, those were the kids who protected her. Those were the ones who stood up for her. Some of them did harder drugs. Most of them smoked pot, and she even did it. She smoked weed for a while to be able to deal with what was happening in her life. And today, she doesn't need it. She's found her art. She's the illustrator in my third book. She has her own Instagram account, if I can say Nairovis. And She is doing well. She's the one motivating me. Mom, you need to write these books. Mom, you need to continue talking to these kids at schools, because it was this close that she died from a joint that someone had given to her to cope with the bullying. She ended up in hospital, and we almost lost her there as well. So don't think for one moment that what you are doing is safe. It influences other people. It influences your siblings, your younger siblings. It influences your family. And when you get addicted to drugs, that illness is horrible, because it's not just the person addicted who's struggling. It's also the family. It's the friends. It's everyone they come in contact with who worry about them. You know, my daughter, when she went on the anti-anxiety medication, our doctor, she's a really kick-ass doctor. She told her, she said, look, you could take this medication and use it to go into oblivion, to fall asleep, to die. She said, but just remember, it could work and you would die. Or it doesn't work, but you become a vegetable, and you need people to do all your private ablutions for you. Your brain will know what's happening. You will not have any control over it. My daughter never abused that prescribed drug, never, because she realized it's her choice. The other thing the doctor said was, when you want to take your life, you cannot expect your parents, your teachers, the world to feel guilty. It is your choice. It is your choice to say no more. And it is your choice to seek help, because no one knows what's in someone else's mind and head. Ask for help. Don't ever give up. So that was my second book about the drugs and sports, and how in sports today, kids do drugs. They do. And there are kids who overdose on it in the sports world. And, you know, it's just an example. It's sports, but it's in anything. Because kids experiment and they don't understand that to be safe, say no.
Now, your books are very timely. Even when I read them last year, but even more so now. It's really interesting. How do you feel about that? And then aren't you glad that your daughter became on board to help you with that? And it's actually, you're inspiring her, but she's also inspiring you.
I am so grateful that we didn't lose her. When we found out that she had written a letter, we found out where she was going to do it, how she was going to do it, why she was going to do it. The only variable was when. And when we asked her, why didn't you know when you were going to kill yourself? She said, Mom, because I knew you and Dad would be devastated. Wow. And Mom, I knew you would not be able to live after that. It would kill you. And that is what stopped me. And she knew, even though we argued, and she went through a horrendous phase. You know, Mom, I hate you and you're terrible. She called me names. There were days when I felt like I couldn't get out of bed because I was so worried, and the way she treated me. But she knew I loved her and I would have her back. And I told her that. It didn't matter if she became an addict. It didn't matter if she went to prison. It didn't matter what she did. She was my daughter. She chose me to be her mom in this lifetime, and I would have her back. Kids need to know that. No matter what, you will be there for them.
Talk about what the parents and kids are like today, because there's no school right now. What have you been noticing? How are they dealing with this? Because when you can't touch someone, you know, what you talked about the last couple of years is more magnified now. The loneliness, the anxiety, the depression, and it may be even worse now. What are you seeing, especially in Canada? What are you hearing?
It is worse, and kids are acting out. They are getting more aggressive. They are frustrated. They don't necessarily understand what is happening right now. The little kids, the teenagers, think it cannot happen to them. Right now, worldwide, age group 20 to 29 are the highest numbers affected with COVID-19. And the reason being, these young people are social creatures. They want to hang out. They want to be with their friends. They want to sit in a pub. They want to go to restaurants. They want to go, you know, in groups. They don't understand that if they carry COVID, they might not get sick, but they can definitely affect people around them, especially people with immune deficiencies. So that is at the moment like, I'm done. I'm going to go socialize. So they do that. The schools are beginning to get ready for the school year in September here. And they are only going to have half the usual desks in their classrooms. They are closing off all the water fountains, so the kids can't use that. They are going to have staggered days of school. So one day this group will go to school, the other day this group will go to school. It is very tough on the parents, because think about it, a lot of people lost their jobs as well. So financially, this is a huge, huge strain on parents. The food banks have seen a 3-fold, 4-fold increase in people needing food. Do not be afraid to ask for help. We are all in this together. This COVID-19 is what should unite the world for the first time in history to stand together. But instead, we get people who abuse it. You get people who take advantage of it. You know, people who go and steal, people who will go and pillage, they will break in, they hijackings. Why do we do it to ourselves when we have this opportunity to grow? To me, that is the most important thing. Parents and teachers should not give up on these kids. There are people to help, you know. I'm very involved with youth. I go to the schools, I talk about the bullying and different systems in place. And I've spoken to youth groups outside, air cadets, even adults. You talk to adults don't always understand that kids can lie very convincingly to get what they want.
Right.
They are smart. As an adult, you need to be on your toes around kids, but you also need to treat them the same way you would like to be treated. And many people right now struggle with that. Alcohol, huge, huge. I was born and raised in South Africa, and they were in an immediate lockdown. No alcohol, no cigarettes. Imagine what that did. Worldwide, people locked down and they are in abusive relationships. Imagine what that is doing, not just to the person being abused, but the kids. Ask for help. It's never too late to ask for help.
How are you and your kids doing today, right now?
We're good. I am very much involved with Toastmasters. I started visiting clubs all over the world. It is very, very interesting. It's a lot of fun. My kids are working. They've been very fortunate. My one daughter is an athletic therapist trainer, so she works with sports teams and athletes and people with sports injuries or injuries. So that was tough. She couldn't do anything. They are slowly opening up that she can work with them. My younger daughter, the artist, she's still working. She is doing very well. I am, my son, you know, he's working in as a laborer. So people, we are doing well. My husband, he is a strong guy who loves his cars. He's building street rods. So my family is good. We are very, very blessed. We've been very good. All of us have been healthy. We have taken protocols. When I go to the stores, I do wear a mask. I stay away from big groups. Yep. My younger daughter, it was so sweet. She wanted to quit her job because, Mom, I don't want you to get sick. I don't want to lose you. So I am very, very blessed, Brian, very blessed.
Talk about you as a speaker, an author, and I always think of you as a visionary, obviously. It's not because of what you have, but that's just how I see you as a friend. Talk about those aspects of things.
I love speaking to people because they get to hear my thoughts and they get to understand about our youth. They get to understand that it's not just teenagers that need to change. I mean, these teenagers, they answer us with a grunt. How was your day today? What are you doing right now? Nothing. But it's because this is a natural state they're going through. So I love explaining to people where you can find help, how you can get through these moments where you don't know where you can go with your kid. What can you do to help? What are the changes we as adults need to make to be able to help our kids? You know, when you go to the grocery store and this young kid at the till and you pay, don't just groceries, yeah, whatever. Hey, you didn't do this, or, you know, I'm not happy with this piece of grocery, this can, go get me something else. Instead, hey, how are you doing? How's school? What are your plans? You will be surprised how these kids open up to tell you about their dreams, about what they would like to accomplish in life. And it takes a smile to make someone feel comfortable. So my speaking, I go wherever I get the opportunity to and spread the message that our kids are the future and we are the guardians of the future leaders. So that's the speaking. Me as a visionary, I believe my books can be turned into movies, a movie series, documentaries, using the elves, using the eagles, the fairies, but getting that message across. You know, there's always hope. Writing, I have just finished my first children's book for the age group 6 to 8. Of course, I wrote, it's a series about a young fairy who's clumsy. She digs her toe in the dirt. If she is unsure of herself, she puts her finger in her mouth. And what she goes through, she's got rainbow wings. In the first book, she's got rainbow wings, and she goes to this birthday party. Everyone else has solid color wings. She stands out. They are mean to her. They don't want her to go down the slide. And because she has a little bit of a lisp, it's even more reason to make fun of her. But it takes one other little fairy, young fairy, a boy, to come and say, you know what? If you cut off everyone's wings, we all look the same. If you wake up in the morning, your voice sounds different. When you're excited, your voice is different. When you're tired, your voice is different. It makes us unique. But accept everyone for who they are. So that book is just about to be published. It's ready to go. I'm waiting for the final illustrations, and then it's on its way. But I'm very excited because this next series for kids is also about life lessons, but seeing it through the eyes of a young, clumsy fairy.
So now we go to, are you going to have 2 of those kids' books? Was that right?
The fairy,
Yeah.
it's going to be a complete series because she is going to go and experience school. She's going to experience going to the mall. She will experience going to the dinosaurs where the dinosaurs were discovered. She is going to experience life. She's going to discover life.
That's
and not always in a good way, but there will always be someone who will stand up for her. And that is what kids to know, that, you know, it takes only a few seconds to say, stop. 2 seconds, 3. It takes one child to have the courage to go into a group and say, stop, you're mean, leave them alone. And we have to teach our children it's okay to stand up against bullies, because those bullies are probably being bullied at home.
Right.
They need help. Those kids don't have a different role model. They are hurt. They are feeling so alone. They need help as well. And I noticed that people don't always focus on them. They focus on the victim.
Right.
Instead of the antagonist, that one who is going out of their way to make life a misery for your child. Their circumstances at home are probably horrendous.
Yeah. And people don't think about that, do they?
No, they don't. No, they don't think about it.
Talk about Who Am I? Why is that one? This is the 3rd book out of the 5. Have you finished all 5?
No, I am almost done with the 4th book.
Yeah.
The 4th book is about a young boy from Nigeria and the horrendous things he goes through. But Who Am I? This one, it's about this young girl. She's one of twins and she's a dancer. She wants to be a professional dancer. She is very, very smart. She also wants to become an astrophysicist or some kind of chemist or something that she can use her brains for. And she finds out she's different. She cuts her hair. She just feels odds and ends. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't like boys, even though her twin sister has a boyfriend, who is incidentally the boy in the 2nd book. She just wants, my characters flow through the books. So there's always a connection from the first one to the next one. Even though you can read the books separately, they always a thread. And so this young girl, she gets bullied because she cut her hair. She is a brilliant dancer. And she hears how people say that she gets given these trophies because she's the favorite, whereas she actually works very hard. And then her emotions, how she doesn't understand who she is. And it takes her fairy, who is a cross-dressing dancer with the Rockettes, to explain to her, but you know, you like girls. You're not like everyone else. You don't have to like boys. And they take her on a journey where she goes to a planet where you cannot make out gender. It's just shapes, colors, and the essence, the female essence and the male essence, the child essence. But you cannot distinguish who is who. And they show her that everyone is the same. It is the heart that counts. It is the person that counts, not what gender they are, not who they might or might not care about. And once she understood that, things started going a lot better for her.
You know, where we are right now, I can see you incorporating the world right now, whether it's Canada or every place else, intermingling in your future books right now. I could see that being really good. But also,
Yeah.
how have you been able to take the time to write since you've been going through changes? How's that been for you?
I write all the time. I have little books like this, and I make notes all the time. When I write a book, I can sit down and I can follow the whole sequence through the book, and I can write like that. Or I write the chapters first, and then I flow everything together. So everywhere you go, there's inspiration. You know, you watch a movie and an idea hits you, or you look outside your window and you get another idea. You see a butterfly and I'm going to write about that. And that is how a lot of the journeys that the kids go through in my books, that is how I found the journeys. It's just a thought that comes up. And you probably the same, Brian, where you get that thought and you know if you don't write it down, it's going to be gone.
That's right.
You know if you don't focus on that, you're going to lose it. Because at any given time, I believe, all over the world, there are others getting the exact same thought from the universe. And it's up to us to decide, what do I do with it? Am I going to work with it, or am I going to be, yeah, I think I'm going to write a book one day. I want to speak in public, but yeah, maybe one day. Or am I going to work on it? I'm going to put something in place to be able to do that. And that's the same with my books that I want to turn into movies. It's going to be up to me. I'm going to have to start bombarding these producers and these guys and say, of course, with Brian's help as well.
Of course, I'm going to help you.
And, you know, tell them about it. Tell them how important it is to have something like this for our youth. We are so focused on having someone who goes through an experience, but you know it's going to end well in the end. My books, you don't know. You hope. And again, it brings me back to there's always hope that things will get better. And that is why I'm doing this, because if I can help kids through my books, through my public speaking, if I can help parents understand that your kids are going to be okay, but you need to put in the work. It's not going to happen by themselves. They cannot do it by themselves. We have been chosen by our children to be their parents in this lifetime. It's up to us to guide them and to protect them and to teach them that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not always be the most popular person, but it's totally okay to be you.
Wow. We got about 5 minutes. Where do you see you going from right now to where the world is? What do you see happening? Because I could tell you what I see happening and what's going to happen. But what do you see? And after that, give you social media links.
Okay, I can see I'm going to expand even more than where I'm at right now. I feel that, did you know 70% of inventions over the next 10 years have not been invented yet?
Yes.
There are so many opportunities to just grow and grow and grow. I don't see myself just, speaking on one platform. It's multiple platforms because we need to get the word out. We need to protect our children. We need to make people understand these young people are hurting. We need to be there for them. What do you see?
It's going to get worse. We got a stock market crash coming any day, anytime. It doesn't recover.
Mm-hmm.
We got a war coming next year, not this year, but you could see signs, whether it's Saudi Arabia, Iran, or Israel, and then we may be involved some kind of strange way. I believe it's over oil. And Russia's in there too. And also China. So those 6-7 countries right there fighting over rights. You could just see it happening. That's next year. But also a lot of stuff starts to happen after September 16th, still going certain ways. So if you're not able to adapt, to adjust, and be flexible, and also having that constant change, you're not going to make it. And small businesses, this is really important now because they're here today, literally tomorrow, they're gone. And also you may lose your life tomorrow if it's not within the next 30, 60 days, depending if you're not doing the correct thing. So this is where we come in to help. So as you know, I set up stuff starting October 3rd of 2018 to put all this stuff together and going to taking your books around with me and sharing it. Look where we are right now. Look where you're right now. Perfect timing for everything because within the next 5 days, the most, 6 the most, we're at 1 million views on our YouTube channel. By the time I air this, we'll probably be there. Actually, we will be there by the time I air that. That's just one. Another show by the end of July is going to be at 1 million views. I've already got one that's at 1 million views. We just did another interview. We just did that one this past Monday, part 1, part 2. 2 of those shows are almost at 3,000 views. Imagine what's starting to happen. So imagine when I start to air this show, what you've already written. Now, you and I have been talking about this for over a year. Well, look where we are. How timely is it, right?
I know. It's as if everything has just worked their way towards this moment in time. Because COVID-19 is probably the best thing that's happened to the world. Not the loss of life, but the fact that this is an opportunity, people. This is an opportunity to change the way you live your life.
Yes.
It's a wake-up call for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, the earth put us on a timeout. Everybody was able to start at zero. So now, I was already at zero before that. I go back to October 3rd, 2018, putting all this stuff together. You know, my partner, the Art de Montague, he was doing this years before that. So with all these things going on, we had a year and a half advance notice. And that year goes quick. Imagine the extra 6 months. Not a lot of time to put stuff together, but just enough time to put stuff together. That's why I'm happy with where we are now, because if you weren't writing, creating, changing your thoughts, reconnecting with your family, whether you got along with them or not, your life literally has been lost. If you weren't putting on your mask, and keeping, social distancing, you could see the ramifications. No matter what state or country you're in, you could see it.
Oh, yeah.
5 years. That's what I tell people. And I go, if I'm telling you this, whether you believe me or not, you don't have to believe me, but look where I am, look where you're not going to be. I'm the solution to your problems. I'm here to help you. And if you don't see me helping you, then there's nothing I can do about it. But I have compassion for you.
Well, look at the opportunities. We can connect with people worldwide via virtual events. We didn't even think of doing that in the past. People would scoff if someone told them, let's do a virtual event. Now you can reach billions with a virtual event. Billions. Imagine the change. Imagine the hope.
I can see it in my
in
numbers. And that's what I was telling people. There was a reason why we're setting up small things. I was giving the notice. I'm just a messenger. I was being fed the information, you know, and you and I have talked about these things. So I couldn't be happier. But it's not like I wasn't reaching out to these companies and individuals and warning them. They just weren't heeding it because they were just busy.
Yes.
Give you social media links.
I am on Facebook. My website is www.discoveringlife.info. I'm on Twitter. I just started doing more on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I am on Instagram. I have to admit I have not been active on that. And then, of course, I do have a YouTube channel that has been dormant a little bit, but on this channel there are 10 interviews of young people who have been bullied and who have persevered. They've been bullied and they persevered, they learned lessons, and they actually give lessons to someone in that exact same situation. So I have to go back to that YouTube channel and continue with it. I feel it's a gold mine of information for people. But that is again also Discovering Life, or under my name. So just look for me until you find me, because up to now I've not been very organized on social media, but I understand it is the way to go.
Right? You've been busy. That's a good thing though.
Yes.
Show your book, show the first book.
Okay, this is On the Edge. That's the first book. This is Upside Down, the second book. And then different illustrator, my daughter. I can show you some, let me show you something. This is the kind of illustration she's got.
Yeah, she does beautiful work. Tell her I said hi.
Oh, I will do that. This is the cross-dressing fairy and the eagle. Yeah, she is very, very good. So, and yeah, so the illustrations are amazing and they tell the story. It's not a graphic novel like the kids like, but with the illustrations, it makes it more real, because my daughter is so good with faces. She gets the expressions in the faces.
With that, I want to thank you, Irma. We've been putting this together for a while, but also
Yes.
extra time to keep writing as you were traveling too. I want to thank you for the help for all the stuff that you've been doing, because I love talking to you. So that's why I call you sometimes. I'm like, I wonder what Irma's doing now.
Well, we've been talking almost weekly for over a year now. It's just amazing how time has gone by, but also really how we became friends over time.
Yeah. And that's fun, because I value that. And I can't wait to see you in person soon. You'll probably end up coming to the ranch, but you know, when the border opens and all that stuff, when you're able to travel. So for Irma Goodson, I'm Brian Sebastian. Movie reviews and more, womanontv.tv, iTunes 247. If you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours, because the world needs it. And also go to her social media links, and also go to buy her books, because they're very, very good. So I can't wait to read Who Am I, because you also have My Spiritual Colors. Those are my spiritual colors. Did you know that?
Yes.
Of course
I
you.
did not know that.
All right.
That
We'll
is
see you next week. And thank you, Irma.
Thank you, Brian.